everyone. Welcome back to Spurs from the Stands. I'm, of course, Sarah. It is, of course, Friday. And so today is the jam-packed bumper episode of the roundup of the week. And we are deep diving into the latest, all about the Premier League. We've got so much coming up today, guys. We are doing, of course, the big kit reveal. We are doing the Premier League rule changes for next season, the fixture reveals, transfer updates, World Cup preview slight maybe towards the end in terms of tomorrow, and of course towards the end I will do any Q&As. So if you have any comments or anything that I don't get to during this live stream, I will come to them at the end. And I've got the windows wide open, so it is very, very windy in here right now. Hello, guys. I don't know, it doesn't feel like evening, Agent Tapster. It feels like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, doesn't it? So yeah, big up to you all. Cheers on this lovely Friday afternoon. Welcome to everyone jumping in. Crazy week of World Cup football. It never ends, does it? It never ends, and we are just getting started. So, guys, 26-27 season is underway. It is officially the 26-27 season now. As you can see, I've done a slight rebrand on the channel. So I've picked some new colours based on the new kit. And let's just go through, first of all, I want to get your thoughts on what the new kit is looking like and, you know, what we all think about it. So first of all, I want to just say on this kit launch that last year we had the Take a Vow. The Take a Vow was the branding. So just park the kit for a moment, because the new branding for this season is "This is where it starts." And so, of course, we've been told there's a rebuild. We've seen the first 3 signings through the door. And so this is the refresh button. This is Tottenham Hotspur saying, guys, we are doing a complete reset and we are starting from scratch. And this now is where it starts. So let's hope that we don't have a breakdown in the middle of the season. I think this is lagging because of this, but let's hope we don't have a breakdown in the middle of the season if things aren't going to plan. So I think this is going to lag quite a bit because I've got this showing. Maybe I'm just going to have to show you on X. Bear with. So first of all, I do really like this new branding that they've done in terms of we're starting again and this is where it starts. It gives me hope that we are really starting afresh this time. Whether that's actually going to translate in the rebuild that we want and into a better season ahead, that is yet to be seen. And of course, we obviously have to see everything be played out on the pitch. But I do like the way that they've started to involve more of the community. Obviously, they had the story of 2 local members as well of the community. And with the recent announcements that we've seen, Senesi, Van Hecke, and Robertson, we had obviously veterans introducing the players or members of the local community. And I like this fan engagement that they're trying to reignite amongst the fan base. And we've really lost this connection as a club with the, I guess, with the toxic season that we've had, right? We've had this breakdown between the fans, the club, the manager, everything. So I'm so glad that they are trying to re-engage the fan base. So obviously they kick this off with the 2 veterans. And guys, what do we think of this new kit? I'd love to hear. Obviously, I'm expecting most people have seen it by now, but what do we think of this? Do we like it? On a scale of 1 to 10, home kit, on a scale of 1 to 10, put the number in the comments. 10 being you love it the most and 1 being you hate it, just to gauge where's everyone at. Rebuild, yeah, exactly. Rebuild number. What is the rebuild number? Rebuild 100. I don't know. I don't know where we're at with it, but yeah. What do you guys think of this kit? Number 1 to 10. 10 being you love it, 1 being you hate it. Put it in the comments. I personally don't mind it. I'd give it like, well, I'll tell you in a minute once I see what you guys think about it. But home kit, I don't mind it. It kind of reminds me a bit of those cinch shirts that we had when Kane was playing for us. I think that was back in the mid 2010s, like 2016s, that kind of period. We had that cinch kit. So we've gone back to sort of like the white era. I don't mind it. I can't wait to get a new sponsor, and hopefully it's not going to be red, because I hate that the feature colour of the kit is red now that we've got less accent blues. But other than that, I don't mind it. I just hate the red. I just hate the red. What are you guys saying? What's the thoughts on it? 0. That's a good start, isn't it? 0. 9s, 8s. Okay, you guys kind of like it. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 6, 6, 7, 6, 7. I don't know. I'd give it maybe like a 5. I'd like the collar of it. I don't mind it. I'm probably gonna get it. Probably going to get it. But then it's part of branding of the channel, isn't it? If it wasn't for that, it probably wouldn't be a kit that I would choose to be running out the door to get, especially some of you are saying in the comments it's 90 quid. So don't know how I feel about the 90 quid. And whose name are we getting on the back now, you know? Are we getting Van Hecke on the back? Are we getting Senesi on the back? Whose name do we get? Can't get Romero's name on the back because he might be gone. And do we get Mickey van der Ven's number? We'll dive into that Mickey van der Ven links a little bit later. But I don't mind it. Yeah, some of you are saying the red stops it from being a 10. Hey James, big up to you all. Yeah, it's not bad. I don't love it. What I'm not sure about, I mean, I like the detail on it, but what I'm not sure about is the away kit. I'm not sure about this one, guys. I'm really not sure about it. It gives me what season was it that we had the sort of like the splatter kit? It was like the navy with multicolored. It was kind of giving this vibe. I can't remember off the top of my head what season it was. It's about 5 seasons ago now, I think. They had the multicolor kit. It kind of gives me those vibes. I don't mind it, but look, it's not red. That's a good thing. It's not red. However, the pink, the coral pink, does look kind of, when I actually was looking at, you know, the colors I was going to use on the channel for the next year, because I made a little tweak to the accent on the thumbnail in case anyone hadn't noticed, very subtle. But I was actually looking at putting this coral color in there, but it looks very red. So I don't know if in real life this looks redder than it does in the picture, but I'm not sure about it. It kind of gives me a headache, but at least the players can't miss each other on the pitch because it's so glaringly obvious where they are. They should not be missing any passes. They should not be missing any passes because this is so outlandish. And obviously we have seen, yeah, put in the comments, guys, kit number 2, the away kit. What do we reckon of this? 1 to 10. Do we like it more or less than the home kit? I like the black of last season. Probably not going to be a season that we want to remember, but hopefully this season is going to be one that we want to remember. So maybe we want to remember the kit and remember, you know, remember the divisiveness of this one. But obviously the third kit hasn't been released yet, but we have seen sneak previews that it has been a bit purpley with stripes and it looks like a bit like pajamas. I'm not sure about either of these away kits, but yeah, guys, what do you reckon of this one? The name of the designer, Nike, probably. Nike, to be fair, the Nike England kit was actually quite nice. I quite like the Nike England kit. The way that they've done like the lion sort of engraved in the actual texture of the shirt. I mean, look, we're talking about shirts, but at the end of the day, it's £100 shirt. So you expect, you know, if you're wearing a shirt, you want it to be a nice shirt if you're going to spend 100 quid on it, you know, especially if you're only going to wear it for what, 1 year probably. So yeah, is there a third kit? Yes, there is the third kit, but it's not out yet. I did see some sneak previews, although I haven't got it up, but I think it is purple. Hold on. It is purple. I'll see if I can get it up in a second, but where you guys don't like either. Number 3. Oh no. 4. The Yid Army likes it. Are you gonna get it? Who are you getting on the back? Oh god, guys, I counted in the sort of little vlog that I did the other day, or I've forgotten the day today, but for the England Croatia game, I said Harry Kane's name 25 times in the whole video, in a 28-minute video. We use the word Kane 25 times according to AI. So you won't be hearing Kane in this video unless we talk about England. But yeah, I am a bit of a fangirl when it comes to Kane. But 11 out of 10. So we like it. We like it. Not good for me, Richard. Not good for you and your body shape. You can, if you get the non-official one, you can get the fan version. Big up to you all. Away is too psychedelic. Yeah, it is very psychedelic, isn't it? I don't look, as long as they can see each other on the pitch, it can't be any worse than the green kit we had a couple of seasons ago, which was basically camouflage Or that taupe kit. The taupe kit was horrendous. That was a really ugly taupe colour. I didn't like that one. So I guess it's better than the taupe kits, but probably not my necessary favourite. But in summary, I do like the way that they announced this. I do like this new, this is where it starts preview branding that they've got for next season. I was just thinking, kit. The third kit, let me see if I can get it up just very quickly because someone was asking in the comments. So for those asking in the comments, this is not exactly what it looks like. Nope. This is not exactly what it looks like, but that's the third kit. The third kit is going to be pajamas, purple pajamas. It's not exactly like this. This is just a leak, so it doesn't look exactly like this. But from what I've seen, it hasn't got the purple panels on the side and it's kind of striped all the way around. So I hate this one more than the away kit, than the second kit. If this is our third kit, I don't know if it's got a collar or what, but I'm not a fan of it. Not a fan of it. The purple, I'm not really a purple fan. I'm not really a purple fan. It's not really my colour. I don't really like purple. Don't mind it, but I take the away kit over this one, or the second kit over the third kit, and the home kit I'll probably end up getting because I don't know if I don't know. This might be a season to remember. But come December, guys, we might want to remember this season. Who knows? Who knows? What are you guys saying? Big up to you, 3-star Reds. Big up to you. Yeah. Robbie and gang. Yeah. We can do the Q&A at the end. The latest Tottenham shirt I have is the blue one from a couple of seasons ago. I would love the home one to have maybe Aztec pattern or some sort of feature. I mean, Aztec is not very Spurs, is it? But I can see where you're going. They could have like an embellished sort of like within the weaving. They could do like a cockerel or something, a bit like they have the lion for the England kit. I feel like they could like maybe make the actual like stitching or something of it a bit more vibrant because the white's just it's a bit flat, the white. But anyway, I don't mind it, guys. I don't mind it. So we do have a lot to get into today. So we will, oh, we will circle back. We will circle back. So that is the branding. I'm lagging again. I'm lagging again. Right, let me close that. Okay, you guys can go onto the Spurs website. You can go onto the Spurs website and that's where you can see the full launch of everything because I think that page is slowing the computer down because it's a lot of videos on that page. So I'm going to give it a second while it settles down. So that is the kit for next season, the rebrand. In terms of, before I dive into these new Premier League rules, I did just want to run us down the Premier League clubs friendlies and tours. Of course, we know that Spurs are going to be in New Zealand and Australia later this season. There was one additional fixture that was put in, which is going to be the MK Dons, which is going to be 22nd of July. As I mentioned previously, this is still behind closed doors, so unfortunately it won't be on Spurs Play or anything like that. But what I found interesting when I was looking through these summer friendly lists, some clubs, I mean, we've got 4 friendlies. I don't know what's normal for a pre-season. I think normally we have like 5. So I'd expect another pre-season friendly in here somewhere. Everton have 5, Ipswich have 5. Those guys are definitely going to be getting in the spirit for next season. You've got Liverpool. What I found interesting, actually, the team with the most pre-season games is actually Sunderland. So they've already got 7 fixtures in the diary. So it'll be interesting to see whether we are going to have one more. Of course, the league starts on August the 22nd. So there'll be 22 days before that Chelsea game. By the time they fly back from Sydney, back in the UK, we might get either one before the 22nd of July or maybe one after. Actually, it can't be before the 22nd of July, can it? Because the World Cup doesn't end before then. World Cup doesn't end before then, I don't think. When's the final of the World Cup? That must coincide. 19th, yeah, 19th of July is the final World Cup game. So that MK Dons friendly will be paid 3 days after. So I don't actually know if they will fit another one in. They might not fit another one in. Maybe that's why Sunderland have so many. Maybe that's why. Are they doing their tour? Sunderland are doing their tour in America. That might be why, because a lot of players might already be out there, maybe. But anyway, those are the 4 fixtures that we have for our pre-season, and maybe I'll cover a couple of them, but they're probably going to be in the middle of the night. So my cousin in Sydney, I've asked him to let us know how that is. So in terms of Premier League new rules. We need to talk about this, guys. We need a serious conversation about the new Premier League rules, because last year refereeing in the Premier League was an absolute disgrace. It was appalling, and not because of the rules, but because of the way that the referees actually refereed the games, and the discrepancy between different rulings in different games. We had some games last season which were, given corners, given fouls on the goalkeeper, and then we had other games where red cards were given, but they weren't given in other games. So the inconsistency last season, especially for Spurs fans, was horrendous. But I'm sure this applies to all clubs, because at some point last season, a lot of teams felt hard done by at some point. The other thing on this is that the game last season, in terms of the Premier League, was so slow. I don't know how you guys felt about the game, actually, like the state of play last season, but we had games last season. It was almost like, because they'd made the ruling that they were going to add on extra time for any time wasting, they used that as an excuse to almost add on 15 minutes at the end of games. So some games that all teams were playing last year were like 105 minutes plus. So we had these really long games, and as a Spurs fan, we cannot forget it, because we had to sit through the dross a lot of times for way more than 100 minutes, and it was like torture at times. So the whole point of bringing in these new rules this year has been to speed up the game. And the positive thing about this, for those guys who have been watching the World Cup, and I know not everyone is watching the World Cup, but something about the World Cup this season is the games are flowing. Other than the hydration breaks, they are flowing so much quicker. The ball is being passed quicker. The play feels much quicker. The games feel like they're going a lot faster as well, because you don't have so many stop-starts in play. And so the Premier League have really needed to make a change next season. And that started back in February. So back in February, the IFAB, who essentially, they are, you could say they're not the governing body, but essentially they set the ruling for what the rule book is going to be for the next season. And then once they've announced the changes, the PGMO can then go back and contest it once they have had the annual AGM, which was a couple of weeks ago. So they have been finalized. The rule changes for next season have been finalized. Some of these you guys will really like, and some of them you might have heard already and you absolutely hate them. But in the main, I think it's a really good thing. So they basically came up with a set of rules in February. They put them in a document and they were like, right, these are going to be the changes for next season. So you have 10-second rule. 10-second rule. So a player has 10 seconds to get off the pitch once they've been substituted. If they do not get off the pitch within 10 seconds, there will be 1 minute added before the next player can come onto the pitch. In other words, don't dilly-dally off the pitch. Don't waste time, essentially, is what this one is about. I think that's a good thing. Maybe you could argue, if you're the winning team, maybe you want to procrastinate a little bit to time waste, but that's the whole point of this, is to stop that kind of dark arts within the game. So I don't mind it. 10-second rule to get off the pitch. I think the game's going to flow a lot quicker, and for that reason I like it. They had accessories are permitted if they're not dangerous. And guys, I think they've changed this rule because they've now obviously got this new ruling where the referees can wear cameras in it's optional in all leagues. So bearing in mind, this is for all leagues, and then the Premier League have identified which points of emphasis they want to take into the Premier League next season. So they've basically said, you can wear jewellery, whatever, but cover it up. And I think they've basically done that because the referees now have cameras around their necks. So I'm not sure about that one, but if that's what they want to do. In terms of the referee, competitions are permitted to use technology. So that's obviously been introduced now across the board. And there's been some things which have been emphasized by the Premier League specifically. So the principles that they have stated is that the main things off the top of my head, I'm just looking through this list, but the main things have been second yellow card can be overturned by VAR now. It cannot be used if you have a yellow card, that can't be overturned. But if the second yellow card leads to a red card, VAR can retrospectively overturn that. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. Where are they? Here we go. Here we go. Any player who gets injured on the pitch, they now have to go off for 1 minute instead of 30 seconds. So I guess this is, again, is to stop time wasting on the pitch, to stop players faking injury and going down. 1 minute is quite a long time. And we already saw the impact of this in the World Cup because Japan, was it Japan? I think it was Japan. They had a player that went off injured. I can't remember which game it was, but they had a player that went off injured. They had to go off for a minute, and then the other team scored in that minute. So it's quite a long time in terms of like the change in play when you've got 10 men on the pitch. Because if a player goes down, let's say a defender goes down around the box, well then the defender might be off while the other team is, attacking. So I think a minute is quite long, but let's see how it goes next season. There's obviously going to be, this is my favourite one. This is my favourite rule change, 5-second countdown. This has worked really, really well in the World Cup this season. 5 seconds for throw-ins and 5 seconds for goal kicks. If the goalkeeper does not kick the ball within 5 seconds, it goes to a corner to the other team. So I don't mind it. The throw-ins, I don't mind either, because one thing that this might eliminate next year in terms of the state of play in the game state is that they might not have as many long ball throws or as many time wasting long ball throws. So for the teams last season, like us, that were relying on the long balls, even though we only scored one of them at the end of the season, that was the Brighton game from the Kevin Danso long ball throw, you'd expect that we are going to have a lot more ball to feet play next season. The VAR review for when a second yellow card is awarded to a player, that can be, as we said, that can be overturned. Only for when players are awarded the second yellow. So it doesn't apply if it's just the first yellow. I think that's quite good. I mean, look, Xavi Simmons would not have been sent off last season for that red card if VAR had intervened. Arguably, I don't know. But the whole point of this is that it's all very well creating new rules, but how are they going to emphasize the consistency of this across the entire season? That's the biggest question that I have. And I've been looking into how they do that, and it's very complex, but maybe that's a conversation for another time. But I want to see consistency. If a foul on a player, if a high challenge goes in and it's a red card in one game, there needs to be consistency across the Premier League. And the VAR now have the power to do that. So there should be no excuses for errors in games about decisions. No apologies next year from the PGMO. Oh, sorry, Robbie kicked, ran over Romero and kicked him in the head and he had to go out Romero got injured for this rest of the season. There should be none of that. It should be really clear and obvious when there is a red card next season. Some things that weren't implemented. So how this works is obviously they have a vote. So the Premier League teams will vote, the FA votes, and the Premier League itself or the PGMO, they have a say in whether they're actually going to agree with the optional clauses. One of the optional things in this year was the idea that VAR can intervene when there is an incorrect corner. They claimed that it would take too long. They claimed that if the referee, let's say, the ball gets kicked out against a player, it's given as a goal kick, they're saying it's going to take too long to review VAR. And so, therefore, only 37% have said that they support the idea of the corners being, having VAR intervene with the corners. I think that this is probably one of the rules that they've missed out on. And it's also a reflection that VAR in the UK, or Premier League at least, it takes too long. The VAR decisions, the referees' decisions, they need to be making these much quicker, and they can learn a lot from what is going on at FIFA and the World Cup right now. And they should be looking to that. And rather than saying, no, we can't adopt if a corner is accidentally given or a goal kick is accidentally given, they should be saying, well, we're going to speed up, our decisions. And for that reason, we want to have this VAR intervening with the corners. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that they need to have VAR intervening for the corners? I think that they've just had so many wrong decisions last season. Look, maybe as a Spurs fan, we feel like we've been hard done by, maybe a little bit, but I just feel like this was like an obvious one they could have put in, but they need to have a majority ruling for it to be passed. So that's why. 80% said they would support the use of live audio footage around refereeing decisions, and 68% around VAR reviews. In other words, actually hear what the referees are saying. So 80% said that they want live audio footage. I don't know whether that's actually going to be implemented, but a lot of people are calling for it, because obviously at the moment we can see when the lines are drawn. If there's an offside or something, we can obviously see that. But the offside rule should just be so easy. The offside rule now, you've got so much technology, they should just make a decision imminently, like they are in the World Cup. I don't understand why we sometimes have 10-minute delays to see if someone's eyeball or their toenail is offside. Like, it's just a joke. But anyway, 72% said they support the use of referee announcements. So obviously that is something that's already in place anyway. And only 43% supported VAR reviewing more incidences. And I think in the Premier League particularly, that's because they haven't nailed VAR yet. They haven't got it right. So they need to be learning really from what's going on at FIFA right now. And then obviously the Game Improvements Advisory Group, they also advise on all of this. So there's so many parties involved in all of these law changes. I did download the law book, and it's like 400 pages or something stupid. So look, I don't care enough to read it that much. But the other rule change that there has also been the hair pulling. So we had a couple of incidences, so ridiculous, but they had a couple of incidences last year with the hair pulling, which resulted in red cards. Now they can give a yellow card if it's not deemed that it's like a really severe hair pull. I don't think that really affects us, because I don't think any of our players have long hair other than Dragusin. So I don't think that really affects us, unless a player's going to like pull Haaland's hair. Essentially, that's why this has come into place. That's basically why it's come into place. Getting a red card for pulling someone's hair. But now it can be deemed a yellow if it's not deemed serious. So those are the Premier League changes to next season. I'm quite excited because I want the game to be played quicker. I want the game to be played quicker. I like what I'm seeing in the World Cup right now. What are you guys saying? Oh yeah, you guys. Susan. Oh, Susan, we haven't seen you in a while. How are you? Are you enjoying the World Cup? Have you been to any games yet? I feel like you said you were going to go to some games. Or did I make that up? I feel like you said you were going to go to some games. Have you been to any? I'm missing you around here, my fellow Yadet. No, though the kit looks like a barbecue grill. Oh dear. Yeah, okay, so you guys aren't a fan of the pajamas. I can't wait to see that shirt tracking backwards at the City Ground in September. Yeah. Yeah, we are never happy. We're a bunch of moaners. But look, it's a tough gig. It's a tough gig. Arsenal fans are never happy either. They're never happy either. Secretly, you guys weren't that happy about your parade because you'd lost the Champions League. But anyway, we're not talking about you lot today. Yeah, a lot of you are saying, oh, big up, Brian. We're having a great weekend. The purple kit is sensational. Is that sarcasm, Brian? Is that sarcasm? When's the red going on the kit? The AIA deal ends next year. The speculation around that was they're going to have to take a cut on the sponsorship and how much money they're going to take from the sponsorship deal, because I think that was a 40 million pound deal, but they had trouble renewing. They had trouble getting the next sponsor in because of where we finished over the last 2 seasons. So guys, let's just hope that we're going to be top 4 mid-season. Do the club get 3? I don't know how it works in terms of the shirts. You're in Boston. Big up, Niall. Are you going to any games? Oh, come on, Scotland against Morocco. History of the Scots have been... I know, I've seen the Scots have been partying. Are you going to any games when you're in Boston? What did I ask that you guys are saying 19th, 20th? Can't remember what I asked. I can't remember what I asked. Oh, the final of the World Cup. Final of the World Cup. I think we just said it was the 19th was the final of the World Cup. Yeah, so 3 days after the World Cup final, I guess they'll fly back. Hopefully one of them will be a champion. Ideally Jed Spence. I haven't checked my birthday dates yet. Well, we'll check it in a second. I know VAR takes 5 minutes. I know it's a joke. It is an absolute joke how long it takes. 130 million deal closed for Elliot Anderson to join Man City. Blimey. Big up, Logan. Big up. Thank you very much, Tom. Big up to you. What comes now? Yes, okay. VAR, what it comes down to is being consistent. Exactly, Neil. Exactly. And yes, loving these anti-Arsenal rules. Exactly, exactly. No more. And also, the other thing they're going to be looking at as well. Did we get raided? Did we just get raided? I feel like we just got raided. Terry raid. Big up, Terry. Big up, Terry. Big up. We are talking, what's this? What's this? We're talking about the changes next season. What's going on, guys? Hold on. It's just seeing if I've sometimes that happens when like loads of people join it, like I don't know, goes funny. No, I think we're good. I think we're good. We love the anti-Arsenal rules. We love the anti-Arsenal rules. Exactly. I think the other thing that they're changing as well is the pushing in the box as well. There's barely been any of it at the World Cup. I'm loving it. I'm totally loving it. I mean, they definitely... Look, it's a tactical thing, isn't it? It's a tactical thing in the Premier League because rather than having skill on the ball, the Premier League has turned into long ball throw, corner kicks, shoving in the box, and all of that stuff. So I'm so glad that there's going to be hopefully it's going to be a faster game next season. I don't know, Callie. I don't know. I don't know if they will be. Hopefully we are. Hopefully we are. New start, guys. Fresh start. Good rule changes, but they are meaningless if they aren't rigidly enforced throughout the entire season and for all teams. Exactly. And look, everyone's calling for consistency, right? This is what all football fans want. I don't care if something's a red card. I don't care if it's a second yellow, as long as it's deserved, you know. As long as it's deserved, then fair enough. And look, all teams are going to have bias, you know. We're all going to objectively, we're all going to be like, you know, that shouldn't have been a red, that shouldn't have been a yellow if it's our team. But as long as it's consistent throughout, you know. Give Sarah a thumbs up. She's the only one who truly, genuinely talking with heart. Big up to you, Stiped Over. Yeah, please do like, subscribe, comment, and share because it definitely does help the channel. Carl, you haven't done this to me, Carl. Carl, what are you doing? Don't make me say it, Carl. Don't make me say it. I'm not going to read it. But thank you very much for the super chat. I can't say it. How can I say it? But big up to you and thank you very much for the super chat. Yeah, not sure I want to be announcing that because someone's going to like clip me up and be like, she's a secret gooner or something after I've had my photo with Robbie or something. But anyway, I can see these throwing and goal kick rules in force for the first couple of weekends, then it will be kicked into the goal. I don't think so. I don't think so. So I realize there's like this whole merit system as well. So referees will eventually, they'll be falling out of favor. And because the schedule is week to week and apparently it's announced on a Monday, then they might not get as many high profile games, which means there's financial implications for the referees as well. Whole other conversation. But in theory, it should be consistent throughout all games and throughout the season as well. The mistaken corner happened in it's USA Paraguay game. And it took me, yeah, exactly. It should be so quick and so easy. You know, why do we need 10 years to make a decision? I don't know if they should be, but this is the way that the game is going. It's the way that the game is going. So now VAR is here. We have to adapt to it and they have to just make quicker decisions. You know, the referees just need to make quicker decisions and they need to be better decisions and consistent decisions. You sit right behind the VAR screen at the Amex and keep getting papped by the sports journalists. I'm moving seats next season. That you love it. You love it, Tapster. You love it. One thing I don't like about the World Cup is the NFL style and break or hydration breaks they are calling. Yeah, but that's a World Cup thing. It's so unnecessary. There was booze the other day as well. There was booze all over the stadium as well, when that was happening. Who is this lady? I'm Sarah. Big up. Um, Thank you for the six. Look, guys, do you know what? Everyone in the chat, let's talk about the fixtures. Let's talk about now we've done the VAR rules for next season. Let me just check there wasn't something else on that. Well, the new table has been refreshed for next season. Why the hell does the Premier League put Tottenham as Spurs? Why do they put it as Spurs? I know we'd still be 20th. Starting the season at the bottom of the table, guys. The only way is up. The only way is up. We got the official table for 26-27. We are not going to stay at the bottom. Don't worry, guys. We are going to be top table by the time it comes October. Don't worry, guys. But why do they put Spurs and not Tottenham? It drives me mad. They do it as well when they do like the reviews and stuff, like the post-match analysis. They call us Spurs. I thought Tottenham had this whole big thing that they were like, no, we're not going to be called Spurs anymore. We're going to be called Tottenham. And then the Premier League are calling us Spurs. But anyway, obviously the teams that got relegated were Wolves, West Ham from last season, and Burnley. So last year we started the season 18th, but this season, because there's no T's and W's, we do unfortunately start the season at the bottom of the table, but that will switch very, very quickly. Hopefully, thankfully. Hopefully. Big up. Down the Arsenal. Thank you, James. Down the Arsenal. Exactly. Down the Arsenal. You guys won't be winning it this year. You guys won't be winning it this year. Can't wait. How much would it cost me to see you in it? I don't even wear red. I don't even wear red, Carl. I couldn't buy a red England shirt. You know, I'm fully COYS. I'm fully COYS. I mean, Robbie said the same thing to me. I can't switch sides. It's in my blood. We bleed lily white. You know, it's priceless. It's priceless. I don't know. 100 mil. Give me 100 mil. I'll give it to Spurs. We can buy Wharton or someone. Yeah, if it was like big money that we could buy a big player, I'd do it, but it's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Anyway, guys, and do you know what, guys? All you Gunners in the chat, all you Gunners and the Spurs fans as well, tell me right now, when your fixture list came out, tell me what was the first game? What was the first game you looked up? Guys in the chat, what was the first game that you guys looked up on the fixture list? I bet you 80% of you it was the London Derby. I bet you it was the London Derby. So everyone can say that they wanted Spurs gone, but I know you guys, and even the Spurs fans, that's a big game, the London Derby. So let's talk about the Premier League fixture list for next season. Obviously that was released this morning. So I did have a bit of a rage baity title because I was like, these are brutal. These are brutal. But I think that it's so the beginning of the season is not terrible. I think our first 5 games, we've got Brentford away. Brentford is the only team that we have gone with what is it? Without a loss since 2023. Brentford are the only team we have beaten in the past 5 games. So if there wasn't a better opening game that you could wish for Spurs, Brentford would probably be the one, because we always seem to do a number over Brentford, whether it's home or away. So I don't mind Brentford as the first game. You could say, arguably, that would be typically Spursy, but this is the reset. This is a completely fresh new season. And if we start the season how we finished it, that should be 3 points from the first game, we would hope. Newcastle probably won't be the same outfit next season. I think that they are also going to be selling players. The likelihood is Tonali, whether he comes to Spurs or not, he's probably going to go this summer transfer window, you would think, unless they can offer the player huge money. But they haven't got Champions League, they haven't got any kind of European football either. So I think Newcastle might struggle this transfer window. I haven't checked who or if they've bought in any players yet. Then in September we've got Forest, Everton, Villa, which I don't mind. I think up until October that's pretty decent. We don't play like a big top 6 club, if you want to say that, until October, which would be Man United would be the first one. So come October, out of our first 5 games, if you've got 15 points to play for, we should be on at least 10 points. We should be on at least 10, 11 points by October. You know, maybe a couple of draws in there. Villa are maybe going to be reinforcing, but then again, Villa might be getting rid of Morgan Rogers. So it depends who they get in. And they're going to be in Champions League as well. So there's going to be a lot of switch ups this season. Obviously, the fixture that everyone looked for, first of all. What are you guys saying? I've had comments, Callie. I've had comments. Someone put in the comments of the video of the vlog yesterday, someone put, I wish we had someone like Sarah at Arsenal. So it's true. It's true. Well, you guys are in my chat, so I don't mind if you guys want to be here, but we're not doing the Arsenal fixtures list, don't worry. You looked up the Man City result. There you go. You guys looked up the Tottenham result. Well, you looked up the Tottenham fixture first. The North London Derby. It's the biggest game. Exactly. Everyone looked up the North London Derby, except the Gooners, who are lying and saying they were looking up Man City, as if you were looking up Man City. I mean, you might have been actually, but oh, exactly. I mean, I don't see the West Ham fixture on this list. Does anyone see the West Ham fixture? I was looking for West Ham. I was like, where are they? Where's West Ham? So the thing that I think, so we've got a bit of like a funny, sort of like I don't want to say easy. No game is easy, but just in terms of the competition that we obviously have the big game Man United in October. And then really, we don't really play anyone, like we've got Chelsea in October as well. So maybe October's a bit of an interesting month, Man United and Chelsea. But I think the interesting thing out of all of this is going to be December. Obviously, we have the North London derby on the 5th of on the 5th. Actually, Callie, you just said your birthday, which games it was in between. My birthday is the day before the Ipswich game. So also Saturday we'll be at home to Ipswich. So my birthday's obviously on a Friday. But in terms of December, this is very, very, very good for us, I think. Just from the outset, obviously we haven't played any games yet, but December is a very good month. Okay, we have Arsenal. Okay, we have Liverpool away, but we have Bournemouth and we have Brighton. And then in the end of January, we have Sunderland. So Bournemouth, Brighton, and Sunderland, obviously, next season, all have European football. And we know that when it comes to European football, because of the way that the league or the European League phase is now played, last year we had 9 games in January, 9 games. So when you think about it, teams like Bournemouth, Brighton, and Sunderland, come December, January, could speculatively maybe struggling by the time they have that transfer window closed and they're going into February. So I do think that playing Bournemouth, Brighton, and Sunderland in that December, January period could be very good for us. We obviously have Man City the day after New Year's Day. That might be another notable one as well. But I do think that those ones are very, very promising for next season as well. So I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. The arguably scary, arguably scary. I can't believe Sunderland got into Europa. Isn't that nuts? Isn't that nuts? Sunderland getting into Europa. Madness. Can't believe we're saying like Sunderland were playing them in January and they're playing Europa. It's crazy. But yeah, I think what I just done. So the fixtures come. So we've got Man City at home in Feb, Liverpool at home in Feb. So maybe a couple of big games in February as well. You've got really the toughest month that we've got is the May period. And so in terms of it being brutal, the end running is going to be brutal, guys. Arsenal away, Chelsea at home, Coventry, well, we'll see how they get on this season. Man City at home, and then Villa away, the last game of the season. That is 4 very highly competitive games at the end of the season. 4 very highly competitive games. And that month, May next year, is going to be brutal, especially if we are competing for Europe. The good news is, guys, I spoke to my dad earlier. And my dad, the eternal optimist, if you guys think I'm optimistic, my dad is ever the optimist. And my dad said, don't worry, it'll be wrapped up by then and we'll be safe. We'll be safe. We'll be in Europe. We'll be in Europe by April. And so no one needs to worry about it. So you heard it first. That's what my dad said. Don't worry about it. It's going to be wrapped up by April, guys. Wrapped up by the time we play Arsenal. So have no fear. Have no fear. Did I see a super chat? Arsenal will smash Tottenham home and away. But let's see. Let's see. Let's see. I'm so excited. We just need a striker. We need a striker. We need wingers. We're going to talk about transfer stuff. But yeah, that is the fixture rundown for next season. But I wouldn't be so cocky about it. We are going to be a different outfit next season. We are going to be a different outfit. People aren't ready for us. They are not ready for what De Zerbi is cooking next season. Absolutely not. 11 points from 7 games in the last run of the league. He's serious. We've bought 3 players already. We are serious because we cannot get relegated. And that last season was the final straw. So you guys can be confident. You guys can be cocky. But we are the underdogs next season. That's how I'm looking at it. We're going into next season as the underdogs. So what else are you guys saying? Before I move on and talk about transfers. Oh my gosh, transfers. Guys, there's so much to talk about. Yeah, I was just checking if there's something else. Enrique. What's this? Tottenham aren't our rivals. City are. Fair enough. To be honest with you, I was looking for the Chelsea games. So no. I was looking at the Chelsea fixtures because they're probably more of our competition than Arsenal. Let's be real, because they didn't get any Europe next year. And they've got a new manager as well. They're also on their own rebuild. So next year is going to be a crazy season, guys. It's going to be crazy. Afternoon, a dream Premier League title coming to Spurs next season. We finished on the same stats points and good as Leicester did. Yeah, I saw this stat. Aussie Ange. I've seen it. Let's talk about transfer, guys. We're not going down, guys. The time has gone. Aspus. It's gone. It's been and gone. If we were going to get relegated, it would have happened. It's not going to happen next season. Right. Transfer news, bombers, everything. So much stuff in the transfer news, guys. Yeah, you guys don't know what's coming. It's fine. You guys can think this, Carl. You can think it. Big up to you for the super chats. Thank you. Maybe we will be fighting relegation, but I can't describe it. I think as Spurs fans, we know on the inside. We know on the inside of our club, change is happening. And that starts with this piece. We are going to talk more specifically about the transfer status. However, Alistair Gold was talking today about, the real man that has come in behind the scenes and has been working on these deals. Don't forget, guys, we already have 3 players in. Arsenal fans, how many do you have, Carl? How many players do you have? I mean, do you even need to reinforce your squad? You probably don't need to reinforce your squad, so that can only be a good thing. But I reckon you're going to get some attackers. But anyway, on to Spurs. So, the real man behind what has been really changing and driving this change at Spurs has been this Carlos Rafael Morrison coming in as the director of football operations. And as Alistair Gold has been reporting, he's begun working this transfer window. So we heard he's not a direct replacement for Paratici. Paratici left in January. Morrison joined in January. Obviously, he's come from Man City. He was at Man City for 4 years. He has come in and he's taking on some of what Rebecca Capelhorn's job was. So he is believed to be very strong behind the scenes, involved in the deal of Andy Robertson, Senesi, and the Van Hecke deal, as well as the new contracts of Pedro Porro and Ben Davis. So it sounds like, as much as Johan Lang is the front man, behind the scenes, Morrison is reporting to Johan Lang. So Johan Lang's at the top of the food chain, if you like, and Morrison is reporting to him. So I was just finding the bit where it said about Capelhorn. Here we go. There it was. So it says Morrison has taken some elements of Capelhorn's position as head of administration and football governance after she left the club following the January transfer window and more than a decade of service. So essentially, we've been speaking about this restructure and this rebuild at the top at Spurs. And part of that has been, yes, Paratici left. Yes, Capelhorn left. Yes, Johan Lang then became whatever you want to call it, interim sporting director, if we're all hopeful that he's going to leave. But look, we might be hopeful he's going to want to leave. But at this rate, he's brought us 3 players through the door. So if Morrison behind the scenes is kind of taking some of this on, then it'll be really interesting to see the rest of the window. So some of the other stuff that he's been in charge of was, I believe, some of the training facilities. Here we go. Yeah. So he is in charge of the training ground operations. Now, one thing we heard from Spurs first of all, they were looking into the pitch, and they were looking into whether there was any injury links between the pitch, the training ground, and the players. So we don't know, and we're never going to know, if that was possibly going to be linked with the I guess the overhaul of the training ground. Because what we heard about the training ground was that it was a bit too luxury and it didn't feel like a working environment. So it could be that Morrison has come in, said, guys, this feels too much like a hotel. It needs to feel like a working environment. And so part of his remit is the training ground operations. So maybe he's going to be involved in some of the revamp of the training ground. And I don't know if we're going to get any pictures of what the new training ground or how they're planning to change it up or switch it up for next season. I don't know whether we're going to get a preview of that, but we definitely know that that's happening. And he's also part of the Spurs executive leadership team. So as much as he doesn't have as much say as Johan Lang, it is a good thing that we've had a change. You know, Capelhorn, she did her dues here for 10 years, but she was part of the Levy era. So you can very much see that this is all about building the new structure within Spurs. And this can only be a good sign for things to come, given the fact that we've already signed 3 players. So let's see how Morrison gets on working under Lange. Obviously, we know that some of the speculation around the new sporting director role has been put on hold, or maybe the right candidate hasn't been identified yet because the Sebastian Kehl thing wasn't really aligned. De Zerbi's got more say now within the club and the transfers that he wants. So actually, maybe having a Morrison and having a Lange might work out better. So I do still think that until we find the right sporting director, Lange is going to stay. And once we find the right guy who can work with De Zerbi, I think maybe the roles change again. But let's see what happens. But very interesting that Alistair Gold has identified Morrison as one of the main key figureheads who is behind the scenes of these transfer dealings. In terms of, okay, we'll come back to that one. Let's talk about Mickey van der Ven. Oh no, we haven't done Van Hecke. We'll talk about Mickey van der Ven. Obviously, we all know that Van Hecke's joined, don't we? We know that Van Hecke's joined, but we didn't do the official announcement on that. Did I just see super chats? Oh, big up to you. I mean, you're throwing money at us, mate. You're throwing money at us, but I'll take it. Thank you very much. Big up to you. Thanks for the sticker. You love us. You love to hate us. The Premier League wouldn't have been the same if we got relegated. It would not have been the same if we got relegated. Richard's losing the plot. Who's losing the plot? We've all lost the plot with Spurs fans. This year, this time next year, 100k subscribers, 70% Gooners. I hope not. I hope not. We're going to have a full season. We are going to have a full season of Matchday Vlogs. I'm so excited. Look, we've got a lot of Brighton fans in the chat. We've got a lot of Everton fans in the chat. We've got a lot of United fans in the chat. So we had a lot of Leeds fans in the chat, Forest fans in the chat. So I think because we started the channel in January, we picked up a lot of football fans that aren't necessarily Spurs fans along the journey. So hopefully next year, when we do the full circuit, we'll also have more Spurs fans in the chat as well. But, you know, if you're worried that it's going to be 70% Cooners, invite your mates. Tell your mates who are Spurs fans. Right. In terms of, let's talk about Mickey. Let's talk about Mickey. Big news on Mickey. Right. Mickey van der Ven. Before I came on here, I was watching Fabrizio Romano's latest update on Mickey van der Ven. Obviously, the links have been on the Mickey van der Ven front in the past 24 hours or so, pretty much, is that Liverpool are interested, Barcelona are interested. We obviously heard the previous links that Real Madrid were interested in Mickey van der Ven. Fabrizio Romano, top tier source, was saying that the Mickey van der Ven situation is very similar to Pedro Porro. The deal on Pedro Porro as I told you guys the other day, it cannot be underestimated the fact that we renewed Pedro Porro's contract for 5 years with a 1-year extension. That is huge. And the reason for that is Pedro Porro had offers or had interest from Bayern Munich, Man City, speculatively Real Madrid. There were big name clubs in for Pedro Porro. As Fabrizio Romano was saying, Tottenham deemed Pedro Porro as untouchable. By De Zerbi, he said Pedro Porro is integral to the plans next season. So the fact that we managed to keep hold of Pedro Porro rather than him going to Bayern Munich or Man City cannot be underestimated. According to Fabrizio Romano, the same thing applies exactly the same to Mickey van der Ven. Mickey van der Ven, according to Tottenham and according to De Zerbi, is untouchable next season. He is an integral part to De Zerbi's plans. And so for that reason, speculatively, unless there was like a massive deal on the table, Mickey ain't going anywhere. Mickey is not going anywhere, and the likelihood is he will sign another contract and he will be given maybe captaincy, he will probably be given assurances, something to that effect. And I would imagine that has also been put into Pedro Porro's contract. So speculation around Mickey van der Ven, links with Liverpool, links with Barcelona. Whilst they might be true and they might be watching the player, the reality of the situation is De Zerbi has deemed this player untouchable for next season. He is an integral part to De Zerbi's plans, which also makes me think that he's going to be starting. I think he's going to be starting next season. So likelihood is, unless, look, at the end of the day, every player can be sold if the right price comes in. If the right bid comes in, you sell the player. But at the moment, it sounds like we're going to keep Mickey. Now, if we can keep Mickey and we can keep Van der Ven, that will be huge, because that is a signal that we are not selling our best players. Because they probably are. I don't know. Can anyone name me a better 2 players in our squad right now than Mickey and Porro? Realistically, like who is better than those 2 in our squad? Maybe Maddison, but he's been out for a year. So our most valuable players at the moment are Pedro Porro and Mickey. So as long as those 2 don't go, we're all good. We're all set. The report also said on the Romero front is that Romero is the player out of the 2 likely to go next season. Argentinian reports, according to Romano, have speculated that Man United have interest. Of course, we spoke about the Man United links with Romero. However, he is saying that this is not concrete. And this is according to Romano, so I'm just going off what he's saying. He is saying that the speculation between Romero and United is not really there. It's not really a thing. Like, it's not really official. There might have been speculation around it. However, he did say that many other clubs are in for Romero. And the situation is we haven't heard a whisper. There has not been a single whisper about a transfer other than the United for Romero. And so I think there is an embargo on this, on whatever transfer news comes about because of Romero. I think it's embargo, just because we've heard nothing. Like, we've literally heard nothing. So the likelihood is Mickey stays, although it's not guaranteed, and Romero goes. That is the word on the street, according to Fabrizio Romano. So how do we all feel about Mickey staying? Do we want Mickey to stay now that we've got Senesi and Van Hecke through the door? I'd keep Mickey. If it's a choice between Mickey and Vuskovic, I'm keeping Mickey all day long. I'm keeping Mickey all day long. So I know that so many people out there have been saying Vuskovic, we have to keep him at all costs. But the reality is that the guy's so unproven. He's so unproven in the Prem. It means nothing that he's done well in Germany. Do you know what I mean? What do you guys say? Big up 7. Loved your World Cup vid. The shame of Robbie trying to persuade you to switch your allegiance. I know, right? I know. Shameless. But we've had it all season. We've had it all season. Oh, that is disgusting. I'm drinking some like fizzy water, which is cucumber, mint, and lime, and it's a bit. I'm not sure about it. It tastes a bit like dish soap. Bit refreshing, but also a bit. I'm not sure about it. Anyway, yeah. Don't worry, we're not switching. We're not switching sides, guys. Yes, we are going to get into Spence. Bear with Richie. We're getting into Spence. Before we talk about Spence, who else have I got on my list? No, okay, we can talk about Spence. Let's talk about Spence. Let's talk about Spence. So the deal with Spence. So yes, there have been links. I have seen the links between Jed Spence and Everton for the right back position this summer. They are seeking a replacement for Seamus Coleman. And according to reports from Sports Witness, Spence is on the list of targets. So there is nothing concrete with this one. However, it sounds like speculatively they're interested just because they need to replace the player. Now, what's interesting about this is Jake Stokes did an article a couple of hours ago and it was titled Everton Star Signs. I think this is a bit preemptive. There's no Everton star signing. Clickbait, but the player that was named was Lehman and Die. So Lehman on Die has been the player that we have been linked to from Everton. However, we are obviously still in for Savinho. The deal with Savinho is everything's agreed. Everything is agreed on the Savinho front. They are just waiting for the City sign off. And that probably won't happen until Maresca, if Maresca comes into City, is fully announced. The backup to that is Somerville. And it sounds like Ndai is on that list as well. So I am speculating. This is just me speculating. It sounds like if I was to hazard a guess, that Spurs went, hi Everton, how much is Ndai? Are you willing to sell him? What's the deal on that front? And Everton probably went, what's the deal with Spence? You know, it's just an inquiry call. So there could be a world in which Ndai comes to Tottenham. What do we think about Ndai? Would we prefer Savinho or Somerville? Let me know in the comments, guys. I know Ndai has been linked to loads of clubs as well. Ndai has been linked with who's he been linked with? I swear there was loads of links with him. I swear there was loads of links for Ndai. Yeah, he's been linked with Arsenal. He's been linked with, and Ndai's been linked with Arsenal, Chelsea, United, Everton, Marseille, Liverpool. Who hasn't he been linked with? So in the he's probably been offered. He's probably been offered to all of the big six clubs. That's what I'm gauging from this. And this is over the last week or so. So over the last week or so, there's the potential that he returns to Marseille. Oh, is that where the link comes from? Didn't I play under... Did he play under De Zerbi? Hang on a minute. Has he played under De Zerbi? Hang on. He did, didn't he? I think he did. No. No, he left just before De Zerbi came in. I thought there might have been a connection there. No. He left. So Ndai left Marseille the year before De Zerbi got there, from what I'm seeing. So yeah, I think Ndai, he wants Champions League. He wants Champions League. he said he didn't really want to go to Chelsea because they haven't got any European football. So why the hell would he want to come to Spurs? So I think the link with Spence and Everton and the whole Ndiaye situation, I don't really see it. I don't really see it, but this is from Football London, and they are quite a reliable source. So Tottenham will try with the license to take on offenders. I don't really get it. I don't really see it. But that's what Jake Stokes is reporting. So I don't know where he gets his sources from. I don't know where he gets his sources from. So obviously we've also been linked with Fernandez. Let me know in the guys, by the way, and die as well. I don't think he's gonna come to Spurs. I don't think he's gonna come to Spurs. The other one on this list is Fernandez. So obviously the name Fernandez has been linked a lot over the last couple of days with Spurs. However, we cannot forget Man United in that picture. According to Fabrizio Romano, the talks regarding Fernandez and Man United are very advanced. That's the word on the street. They are pursuing Fernandez. They are pursuing the midfielder, and the likelihood is that it's going to cost big money, and he's probably going to go to he's probably going to go to Man United. So, in other words, there is big, heavy competition for Fernandez, and there is speculation out there that he's linked with Spurs. Fabrizio Romano did back that up today in his latest video, that there is a link between Fernandez and Spurs, but the likelihood is that the conversations are quite advanced with Man United. So that's the deal with the Fernandez situation. According to Krish, in the last 24 hours, Spurs made direct contact to understand the contract demands. According to Ornstein, Tottenham are interested in Fernandez, and the manager is personally interested in the player. So there's links here, guys. There is links, but I don't know. I just feel like this one, United have got it so close. But then again, we heard the Tonali news, so we're gonna have to wait and see how this all unfolds. We're gonna have to wait and see how this all unfolds. What are you guys saying? It's hard to find better players and most are crap. Well, under the right manager. Under the right manager, they will be good. Everyone wants Spence but Spurs. Look, a couple of years ago, Spence was not even playing football. The kid could not get into Spurs. For love nor money, the kid could not get into Spurs. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's playing for England. So, you know, players sometimes need to wait their turn. They need to bide their time. But I think he's a great backup to Porro. I think Porro still starts, but we can't get rid of Spence. He's a versatile player and he's stepping up. Look, he's showing what he's made of. He was part of the fourth goal when he came on the pitch for England the other day. He didn't get an assist, but he was part of that goal, you know, in the build up to that goal. And he was integral to the goal they got in the friendlies as well. So Spence is a decent player. He's decent enough. There you go. Jeff says 100 mil for Spence. There you go. Jeff says 100 mil. I don't know if he's worth 100 mil, but maybe 60 odd. Maybe 60 odd. But yeah, next season is going to be a tough season for us, isn't it? There was a super chat here somewhere. Do you eat tomatoes because they're red? Big up, Carl. Do I eat tomatoes? Yes, I eat tomatoes. Tomatoes. Strange questions you guys have. But yeah, thanks for the super chat. Some of you are saying don't see Tonali coming to us. Yeah, reliable source. What? Tomato sauce? I don't know. Look, Ornstein is a reliable source. Romano is a reliable source. Whether the clubs actually do the business and get it over the line, that's a different conversation. So look, as Spurs fans, we've been burned so many times before. So we just have to hope, we just have to hope that that it does go through. So that was the deal on Spence and Ndai. What did you guys say about Ndai? I did see some comments about Ndai. Did you say Ndai won't be at Everton at the start of the Premier League? 3 signings down, 9 to go. 9 to go. Yeah, no. No, it will happen. It will happen. Lots of things are working in the background. Ndai wants Champions League. Yeah, that's what the reports are saying. Not Savinho, maybe Somerville. Ndai to Villa when Arsenal signed Rodgers. Yeah, that could be one. I could see that. I could see that, actually. Are they going to sign Rodgers though? I don't. There's been no movement on the Rodgers front at the moment. I'd take Ndai over Savinho. It's a funny one. It's kind of come out of nowhere, hasn't it? Ndai wants United. Okay, maybe that is his dream move. Look, players are going to want to play European football. As we said, how much pull does De Zerbi have? You know, what is the De Zerbi pull? What's the extent of it? If players can see that all of a sudden we're bringing in 3 defenders, we go and get Tonali, we go and get Savinho. Who else were we in for? Oh my God, there's so many players. If we get a proper goalkeeper or second goalkeeper, there were links today actually to goalkeepers as well. So, hold on, what else did this article say? Tonali and Fernandez would be a great pair of great signings. Yeah, this was, so the speculation around this was, it was both. It wasn't one or the other, it was both. So I don't know what De Zerbi's cooking. I don't know how we make space in the midfield for all of these 8s and 6s and like how this is going to work. Whether Bissouma's obviously gone. Does that mean Bentancur maybe goes? We can probably upgrade on Bentancur, to be honest. We probably could upgrade on Bentancur and get good money for him. So maybe that's the thinking. And then you've got Gallagher, who doesn't really fit a De Zerbi system. So, but then Gallagher's a club signing. So you can't have no club signings. You do need to have some club signings. And we literally signed Gallagher 6 months ago. So that would be such a ridiculous turnaround. That would be such a ridiculous turnaround if we sold Gallagher this summer. But it's not impossible, but I don't know realistically who would buy him. I just don't think he's a De Zerbi player, but so there you go. De Zerbi begins Champions League charge. So I don't know. People in the comments don't know what they're talking about. The goal is to get us back into the Champions League. Not even in Europe. It's to get us back into Champions League. Like, we are going big or we're going home. Go big or go home. I don't know, maybe Archie Gray. I don't know. It's funny, isn't it? So there have been links, I guess, on this front. There have been links with Bergval to Chelsea. Don't know how strong these ones are. What I'm noticing with the World Cup is whenever a player plays, the day after they play, there is some source about it. So obviously Sweden, having played the other day. The report on the Bergval front is that Chelsea are heavily scouting the midfielder Bergval at the World Cup, and according to Simon Phillips, Chelsea are closely monitoring Bergval as they believe he could be open to leaving Tottenham this summer. So what we're seeing here is the suggestion that, yeah, maybe if you're going to go for Tonali and you're going to go for another midfielder, and you can get money for Bergval, we could get good money for Bergval. Could we get 50 maybe for Bergval? I think 60 is a bit of a push. But if you're going to get rid of Vuskovic and you're going to get rid of Bergval and you can get 100 plus for both of them and you can get a striker for 100 mil, I'm doing that all day long. I'm doing it all day long because I think Bergval, as much as he's a good player, we have got midfielders that are good. So we need to reinforce up front. We need to reinforce our wingers and we need to reinforce our strikers. So sacrifices are going to have to be made. I would hate to see Bergval in a Chelsea shirt. I would actually hate to see it. In some ways, I'd hate to see Bergval in a Chelsea shirt more than I would an Arsenal shirt. call me crazy, but the idea of Bergvall going to Chelsea, that just to me is horrendous. That's just horrendous. Bergvall in a Chelsea shirt, I can't. I can't. I think if Bergvall goes, he only goes to a Prem team. I can't see him moving away from the Prem, but he, yeah, I'm not sure about Bergvall. What do you guys reckon? What do you guys reckon if you're going to get Tonali and, I mean, it's outrageous, but let's say you are going to get Fernandez, just hypothetically, who are you going to get rid of? Let's say we still need to get rid of two. Maybe you do get rid of a Bentancur because the Tonali's a better fit for the system. And maybe you do get rid of a Bergvall because you can get money for him. And then maybe next summer you get rid of Gallagher. Don't know. Don't know. Crazy. Crazy. On the goalkeeper front, there were links, as we heard at the very beginning of the transfer window. We heard the links of the name Carl Darlow. So obviously the 35-year-old goalkeeper from Leeds. There was speculation last month that we were linked with the goalkeeper. The Athletic has been reporting that they may compete with Man United for Carl Darlow, and they are seeking a new shot stopper before the season starts. So I don't necessarily think this is a first goalkeeper position. I think this is a case of, we've heard many links that Vicario wants to leave England and we need to get a second goalkeeper in. And I do think Carl Darlow would be a good fit for that. Being 35 years old, he probably wouldn't mind sitting on the bench, and he's a Prem proven, second in command goalkeeper. So I don't mind it if he comes to replace Vicario. Apparently he has attracted offers from Tottenham. I don't know whether these are reliable sources or links. I'm guessing this is all speculation. Apparently Leeds want a 2-year deal for the goalkeeper. So I don't know too much at the moment on how much that would be, but I'm not against it. If that means that Kinski gets to be our starting goalkeeper next season, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. What are you guys saying? You guys are saying I watch a big Everton channel now and again. They themselves say Ndai produces these great moments of skill, but the overall output contribution isn't there. Sounds perfect for Spurs. Look, we need a good striker. You need a good striker. If he can give service, to Solanke, he's going to be banging in the goals. Problem is, we haven't even got service, let alone a finisher. We've not even had a player this season. Kolo Muani delivered nothing. He delivered zero, zilch. So, if you're going to look at it, is he an upgrade on Odebear? Yes. Yes, he is. 100% he's an upgrade on Odebear. Do you know what I mean? So it's the bar that we have is so low. The bar that we have at Spurs is just rock on the floor. And so a player like Ndai, yeah, he might not be a great finisher, but he raises the floor of the squad, and that's what we need. I'd love to see Ndai as Dembele type player and turn him into this. He's very strong on the ball and tackles hard too, always in the right place. See you, Sunny J. I really hope we get Tonali. I know the chances are slim, but still, yeah, look, hijacks happen all the time, Man City could come out of nowhere and hijack it. You just don't know. You just don't know. And Dye and Somerville are indicative of the winger shortage. Decent but not great players. Yeah, there is a winger. There is a winger shortage. I think Savinho is a good shout. I think Savinho is a good shout. I don't mind it. I don't think this greedy club is going to pay 85 million for Tonali. I don't believe in the club a little bit. It's just a talk. We are only interested, nothing else. Let's see if a bid gets put in. Dibby-dibby-dish. Let's see. Let's see. Guimaraes is what we want, not Tonali. Why would anyone go there? Thanks, Carl. Thanks, Carl. We won't be swearing. We won't be swearing, but yeah. We've got a big pool. We've got a big pool. We've got a big pool. We've got the manager pool. De Zerbi. He's going to call in all these players. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. You guys are going to be jealous of us at the end of this season. Can't wait for Kudus to come back. Yeah, I'm so excited for Kudus. What Systemic Frog? What are you saying? 2 number 6s: Wharton, Tonali, Fernandez, Paulinho. I don't think Paulinho is coming. I don't know. I've just got a feeling he's not coming. I've got a feeling. 1 Morgan Gibbs White, number 8. Akilush, number 10. 2 wingers: Savino, world-class striker, Vlahovic, and keeper Trafford. Well, look, we've been talking about David, haven't we? And last night for Canada, he was having the time of his life. He was having the time of his life, Jonathan David, last night. Scored a hat. No, he didn't score a hat. He did score a hat trick last night. I mean, Qatar did have 2 players sent off, but he must do wonders for his confidence. When get out. 3 assists in 32 games last season. I mean, look, with the right setup, this is why you can't rely on stats. This is why you can't rely on stats. You've also got to take into account, you know, how the manager is going to get into these players. So who else was there? We've done Tonali. Have we done Tonali? Well, they're still pursuing Tonali. That's the news on that front. There were a couple of other players. Oh, yes, the Swedish kid, Ayari. I saw yesterday there was a link with Ayari, Swedish kid who scored 2 goals in their opener. Apparently, there's several clubs interested in Ayari. He has resulted interest in Chelsea, Liverpool, and Newcastle. And this is what I mean. 22-year-old who pretty much is like Bergvall. It's like, it's swapping like for like. He's 22 years old. He's a centre mid. So he got 22 caps and 5 goals for his country, joined Brighton in January 2023. His current contract runs out next year, 2027. He's made 29 appearances, scored 3 goals and 3 assists. And he's currently valued on transfer market as 35 million euros. Whether Brighton want to give us another player, I don't know. But it does seem weird that we're linked with Ayari and Bergvall is linked with an exit. I've just got a feeling that out of our midfielders, it's Bergvall that might leave, just because I think his price, I think this might be a good time to sell him in terms of like transfer business and how much we could get for Bergvall. Not saying I like it, I can just see that happening. In terms of other names, there haven't been too many other strong links. Wharton has been a name floating around, just that Tottenham are interested, according to Team Talk. They are prepared to make a significant effort to sign the midfielder. It's thought that, you know, he's a player that's wanted, but we would be in huge competition with other clubs going for Wharton. So you've got Liverpool who are interested in Wharton, United, Chelsea, Real Madrid, Arsenal. I mean, the guys had interest everywhere. So again, I don't think Wharton is necessarily a player that comes to us, but there's speculating links there. And the other name that I saw earlier was also Jared Bowen. So Jared Bowen was apparently a link, according to the former Spurs scout, Brian King. So according to Brian, Jared Bowen could favour a move to Tottenham if he was forced to leave West Ham this summer. King said a move to Tottenham would be suitable for Bowen because he lives in the Essex area. And he added that the West Ham board has to sell at least 2 players for a significant sum and will be seeking 30 to 40 million for Jared Bowen. That's 30 to 4 million pounds for Jared Bowen. So as you can see, the links with Somerville, Fernandez and Bowen all come because West Ham need to sell. So I think this is a case of they need to get a couple of big name players off their books. They need to get revenue in. I can't see Bowen coming to us, if I'm honest. Why the hell would he come to a rival club? I know he doesn't want to play in the Championship, but I'm not sure I see him coming to Spurs. That's the truth. I can't see him in a Spurs shirt. So it's a bit of a weird one. However, I guess location wise, it does make sense. It would be a step up for him from West Ham. We've already got Kudus, West Ham player. So I don't know if there's strong links on this one. I'd say the Somerville one is probably stronger than the Bowen links. Bowen, I keep saying Bowen, but Bowen links. So I'm not sure about Jared Bowen. I'm also not sure whether I actually want him. What do you guys reckon to Bowen? King says a lot of stuff. Yeah, I mean, look, it's all speculation, but it's been going on for years, but they have been relegated now. So the difference now is West Ham need to sell. They need to sell players. They need to make money because they are going to make a huge, huge loss next season. So if they sell Fernandez for like a huge sum, 80 plus, and then they get a second player out the door, that is exactly what West Ham need, you know? So, and a lot of players are going to want to leave because they don't want to play in the Championship. So all I can say is on this front, thank goodness it's not us. Thank you, footballing gods. It's not us having to do the clear out. That's what I have to say to that. But I don't think it's going to happen. And just checking if there was anything else. There was speculative links between the Celtic player Benjamin Nigren as well. He specifically wants London, and he has held. This is all speculation, of course. This is according to Sports Boom, so very loose connection here. What I'm looking for in these links is a lot of times people pick up the phone, it's an inquiry, people get in touch and it's an inquiry, and off the back of that, you can tell what positions we're looking for. So Nigren is a right winger, and they are demanding 26 million pounds or 30 million euros, which would make it a club record sale, and that would make the player more expensive than Matt O'Reilly. So I don't know, it sounds like we're looking for a right winger. That's what I take from this. Whether it's going to be Nigren, whether it's going to be someone else, I don't know. But word on the street is we're looking for a right winger. And obviously we also heard the links with Fofana the other day as well. So apparently the links on Malik Fofana, who's obviously a left winger, was that Spurs have made an offer of 26 million euros, including bonuses. So this is all like a moving jigsaw puzzle at the moment, and we're going to have to see what lands and what doesn't. In terms of what I was reading online, so the Wharton thing that I just shared with you guys, that also was mentioned by Graham Bailey as well. So Team Talk, Graham Bailey, they're all saying that the Wharton conversations are underway. Oh, why does it keep doing this? They also said, Alistair Gold earlier today also said that Spurs have no interest in signing Mason Greenwood. No interest in signing Mason Greenwood. That one apparently speculatively is off the cards. So Mason Greenwood probably not going to be a player that will ever come to Spurs. And I reckon it says here in other news, in case you hadn't worked it out already, because it would be utterly absurd after De Zerbi's early days in the job, Spurs hold no interest in signing Mason Greenwood this summer, despite the links. So the Greenwood links might be there, but they're listening to the fans. They're listening to the fans. So I don't know what the Team Talk news was on the Wharton one, but it was reported in quite a few places. So I just think Wharton's got so many names in for him. It's going to be moving parts. It sounds like we want to get two midfielders. It sounds like our attacking mid is not such a priority from what we're reading online. And it sounds like we're looking for a left winger and a right winger. And the striker scouting, there's been no striker names. Barely any striker names coming out recently. There were obviously some at the very beginning of the transfer window, but they have died down now. So interesting to see whether we are going to get a striker. Maybe the situation is that they do need to sell Romero, Vuskovic, Bergval, raise some money. If they can get like, I don't know, 150 plus for those three players, and we go big, then we go big for a striker. Maybe that's what they're holding out for. I don't know. Speculative. Ornstein was saying on the Fernandez deal that they are interested. So that one was backed up, even though people were saying it's not necessarily true. His eyes are on United. That depends whether that one gets over the line or not. However, we are in competition with them, as well as the pursuit of Tonali as well. So the battle of Man United and Spurs, one that keeps continuing from the sounds of it. And obviously United have the big pool, and they have Europe. So I can't see us winning anything over United, but I don't know what's going on at United. So if they're fully going all in and backing Carrick or not, I'm not too sure what's going on over there. But that is the latest news, according to The Athletic as well. So that was the news updates on that front. What are you guys saying? Big up, Richie. Big up. Ismail Kone is fantastic. Well, unfortunately, he isn't going anywhere. Because unfortunately, he had a very, very bad injury yesterday, which looked absolutely horrendous. It looked horrendous. But unfortunately, Kone, according to Romano, from what I was seeing earlier, Kone isn't going anywhere, and he will be staying with Sassuolo next season because, well, he pretty much broke his leg. He pretty much broke his leg yesterday. Did you see it? Did you guys see it? Oh, it looked horrendous. They didn't even show the replay on TV. His leg was like crooked, horrific. But yeah, he might be a good player, but unfortunately it's a Xavi Simons situation, and he won't be on the move this summer because he's now injured. Mateta or Thiago? I wish I could execute that for you. Put your prices up. Yeah, well, I take it. I think he's gone. Carl, are you still there? Carl, are you still there? Two strikers, Vlahovic and David. Yeah, look, David did have a good game yesterday. Look, Qatar, 6-0, 6-0 Qatar. Ridiculous result. Unbelievable, that game. Kind of crazy as well, but yeah, spending our pocket money to troll. You guys are talking about that. Yeah, Richie, exactly what I said. Yes, or vice versa. The Sarah Paul gets everyone in your stream. Spend your money good as if you want to. yeah, everyone, please do like, subscribe, comment, and share, and all of that jazz, because it definitely does help the channel. Oh dear. Yeah, it definitely does help the channel. Bowen going home to Hull. Can you imagine? Yeah, he's not going to play for Spurs. I agree. Look, crazier things have happened. This is not a move. Look, we're talking about Bergval going to bloody Chelsea. Money talks. Money talks. There is a world in which Bergval goes to Chelsea and Bowen comes to Spurs. Although I don't want it. I actually don't want him. I don't know why. I just feel like we have Kudus already from West Ham, and maybe I would have taken Bowen over Kudus, but not both of them. Not sure about it. Yeah, exactly. For this reason, Sean. Exactly. Sean saying the same thing. Yeah. You don't want to be buying from Relic. Not because they're bad players. I just think that, like, mentality wise, just mindset wise, I'm not convinced about it. I just think that we're trying to rebuild this winning mindset, starting again from scratch, and getting too many players from lower division teams. It doesn't seem like De Zerbi's style. From the players that we've been linked with, they are all experienced players. That's what I'm getting from the links that we've been seeing around the De Zerbi situation. Oh yeah, Richie. Yeah, that's true. Oh my God, there's so much hate for Richie, guys. There's so much hate for Richie. I was reminded the other day that Richie scored the goal of the World Cup, last World Cup campaign in Qatar. How crazy. He scored the overhead kick, he got the goal of the World Cup, and now we're talking about how crap he is. Just how times change. How times change. And now he can't even get into the Brazil squad. And Brazil, well, let's not even talk about them because they've been ridiculous. When are they actually playing? Is Brazil playing? When's Brazil's next game? Oh, Brazil's game is tonight at 1:30. I'll be watching that. Right, what else are you guys saying? What else are you guys saying? I thought Kudus was unhappy about having. Oh, maybe. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. And we do have Odebear. Odebear must be going. He's got to be going. Surely. Surely. I don't know. I don't know. There's so many moving parts, guys. We've heard that as well, that Tell is an integral part. So you've got, from what we know, De Zerbi told us 12 players are staying. We already know Porro is one of them. We already know that Mickey van der Ven is one of them. And we know that Tell is one of them. We probably would assume that Maddison is one of them. Probably Udogi as well. We know Udogi's going to stay. So what's that, 5? Yeah, it's 5. Maybe Bentancur, that's 6. He said 12 players. So Bentancur, Solanke, I think, stays. That's 7. Lancashire, if you can count him, but I don't. He's non-tried and tested, so probably not. Kudus makes it 8. Who else have we got? Kudus. Well, you're going to get Gallagher in there. I don't know if that makes the 12 that you'd want to keep. Kinski, he's the 9th. So we're really like clutching here at like who would actually. I mean, we did the whole clear out thing, but oh, Sarr, that's the player that can go in midfield. Sarr, yes, Sarr was the name that could go in midfield. So maybe that's why. Maybe Basuma, Sarr, and Bergval go, and then you bring in 2 because we're so stacked in that area anyway. You realistically, actually, we don't need all those players in that area. Richie wants Bissaka. A lot of you are saying no to Bowen. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it happens. Wharton wants Liverpool. Yeah, I agree. It would fix our midfield issue, but it's also, I don't think he comes to us. I don't think he comes to us. Where see the difference with Tonali is Tonali at the moment doesn't. Well, I guess Wharton doesn't have European football either, but Tonali doesn't have Champions League or any European football next year. So maybe better convincing. I don't know, but look, all these players are very physical players. De Zerbi definitely wants to build a very physical, forward attacking, progressive team. That's what we're reading so far from the situation. And also we spoke about the potential of him playing a 3-4-3. If we play a 3-4-3, you need more midfielders. Well, maybe slightly different positions in midfield than if you're doing a 4-2-3-1. You probably don't need the 2 holding players as much. You probably want more aggressive passers. So I don't know how that quite is going to play out yet, but we've got to see how it plays out. Yeah, I know, Pete. I know. I get it. 7. I know. I know a lot of people don't like Solanke. I know a lot of people don't like Richie. Richie's still a top striker. He is. He is. He is. I look. Do we renew Richie's contract? No. If there's no one else on the market, maybe you give him a 1-year extension, and then when the right player comes along, great. But this could also equally be a Harry Kane situation. This could be a breakthrough season for Lancashire. He has an opportunity, Lancashire, to really show what he is made of. In Kane's first year, he wasn't very good. In Son's first year, he wasn't very good. In Modric's first year, he wasn't very good. And so Lancashire might come in and he might take a while to warm up to the Premier League, but he does have an opportunity to really prove himself and he could become our next big striker. You know, this could be a Pochettino situation where the club want to go out and buy a striker and De Zerbi might be saying, I've seen enough from Lancashire. I've seen enough from him. The kid is good enough to start. So we could be seeing that kind of situation. We don't know. You know, we don't know how it's going to play out and how the dominoes are going to fall. But certainly Lancashire is an exciting player. And actually, interestingly, on Instagram, it popped up the other day. There is a striker, like one of these like coaches, you know, that specializes in strikers, and there was a lot of content from Lancashire building up his physicality in that clip. I'll see if I can find it for you guys or tell you who the name was. But yeah, there was a lot of videos of Lancashire doing the pre-season drills and warm-ups and, you know, in training basically for next season. So that's really promising to see. But don't write off Lancashire. He's young. It might take him a while. But yes, Lancashire, Richarlison was our top goal scorer last year. So he is. That is the bar. That is the bar. The bar is so low that Richarlison was our top striker. You know, 12 goals, and he wasn't even fit for half the season. So that's not terrible. And if you actually give the strikers the ball, but yeah, he misses too many opportunities. I agree. He misses too many opportunities. He's not the kind of deep line creative workhorse that some other players are. He's never going to be Harry Kane. But if you ping him the ball and he's there and he can head it in or do a bicycle kick, he's your guy. He is your guy. Whereas Solanke is a bit more of a driver of the ball. He's a bit more physical. He's a bit more of a workhorse, Solanke. So two different types of strikers. And I actually don't know, because we don't have our wingers yet and we don't know our attacking line. I actually don't know who De Zerbi is going to favour or what kind of striker he's going to favour next season. So lots to see. Anyway, guys, it's coming up to 7 o'clock, almost dinner time. I am all over the place because I have not cooked in a couple of days. It's been so bad, guys. It's been so bad. I had a pizza delivery last night because I stayed up editing the bloody video. But no, I love it. I love it. The vlogs are actually one of the most funnest things that I do, and appreciate all the love on that video. And yeah, don't worry, Robbie's not going to get in my ear. I'm not going Arsenal, don't worry. So who do you prefer? You keep Richie and Solanke or sell them both and get Osimhen? I am tired of middle of the road strikers. I want Osimhen, but I've wanted him since he was 20. I think we're going to go into the season with 3 strikers. I think we're going to sell Richie because his contract is up, as I keep saying, next year, and he can go outside of England or outside of Europe, I think it was, in January for a free. So unless you're going to renew or give Richie a contract extension now this summer transfer window, he has to go unless we want to get rid of him for free. And for one of our most expensive signings, you're probably not going to let him go for free in January. And the striker market is so quiet, you're probably going to get a bit of a bang for your buck for Richie. You know, you're not going to get what you paid for him, but I don't know. In terms of Solanke, he needs a full fit season. He needs a full fit season, and I think he comes into the season. He's on the bench, and I think Lancashire will be our 3rd striker. I think we're going to have 3 strikers, and there might even be points. Who knows? This could be a situation where we play two up front. I've no idea. And don't forget, we do have Tell, who can be a striker as well. We do have Tell. I know people won't like that, but under De Zerbi, who says he's the best player in Europe, or one of the best young players up and coming in Europe, that gives me hope that he can get the best potential out of Tell. Look, all of these players have the potential. Can the manager realise that potential? Can the player realise their own potential and actually make it happen on the pitch? You know, and we haven't seen any of these players reach their fullest potential because they've all underperformed because of the chaos behind the scenes. So hopefully we'll just be a little bit more settled next year. You know, hopefully we'll be a bit more settled. The players know the tactics of De Zerbi. They know the style that he wants. And look, we are going to have a bedding in period, because with all these new signings that we've just made, 3 of them, and the new ones that we hope to make, there will be this bedding in period where we're going to have to sort of see the synergy between the players. How's the communication, you know, because sometimes you see clubs that make so many changes in one transfer window, it's not successful. Look at Liverpool last year. I know the whole Jota thing was a situation, but they won the league and then they made so many new signings that they lost a lot of the sort of synergy amongst the dressing room. So I think that's an important part of it as well. And I do think having the back line of Van Hecke and Van de Ven, both of them being Dutch, I think that's going to be really useful next season as well. Same language, same understanding, playing this, you know, in the internationals together. I think that is going to be, and now they're going to be bonding as well. They're going to be bonding. So I'm pretty sure going into next season, Van de Ven and Van Hecke will be our starting two, and then Senesi is the backup. So yeah. Anyway, such a what you guys are still such a shame about Dembele. But sorry, about who did you say? Oh, about Deli Ali. Oh, Bulgarian pride. Yeah, just lastly, before I just go over the drill for tomorrow, just lastly as well, I was listening to the View from the Lane podcasts, and on the View from the Lane, that was obviously the podcast that was done by Danny Kelly. Sorry guys, I'm just getting something up, bear with me. Just waiting for it to load. Oh, that's a bit annoying. Yeah, the news on View from the Lane, they would obviously, so they got it wasn't Jack, I don't think it was Jack Pitt-Brooke and Jay Harris on this episode, there's someone else, but anyway, I was listening to that this morning, and they was talking about basically about Vuskovic. They were saying that the problem with Vuskovic is he has basically become like the king. He has basically become like this king in terms of being in the German league. And he is like this like huge, like they were saying that they were even talking about, joking that in Elfsborg they were talking about, was it Elfsborg or somewhere in Germany, they were talking about renaming one of the buildings after what was it? No, there was supposed to be a reconstruction of a building, and the protest was, instead of putting the money into redoing this building, the conversation was that they should put that money towards buying Luka Vuskovic. That was it. So they were going. There was all speculation that he's like the king of Germany. He's like this huge, huge, huge player. Blah blah blah. So he doesn't necessarily want to come back to England and sit on the bench, but as I was saying to my dad earlier, you have to earn it. You have to earn your place. Spence earned his place. Kane earned his place. You know, every player needs to earn their place. And if you're that good, then you will start. So I just think that Vuskovic's value, he thinks his value has gone up so much that he wants to go to like one of the big boys, you know, like a Real Madrid or something. And I think that they were saying that there's more likelihood that if he goes to Brighton, Brighton could sell him to a bigger club, whereas if he stays at Spurs, the likelihood is we wouldn't sell him, because ideally at this point in time we want to keep our big name players. I don't know. That's what they were speculating on View from the Lane. So interesting conversation if anyone wants to head over there. But guys, a little bit of I'm not wrong thing. A little bit of World Cup briefing for you tomorrow. Tomorrow, this is on the community tab. On the community tab of this channel. Yeah, it wasn't Elfsborg. Sorry, King Hildel. It wasn't Elfsborg. It was another city in Germany, but I've forgotten off the top of my head. But tomorrow, as you guys know, we are doing a couple of watch-alongs for the World Cup. For anyone that is new around here, first of all, hi, welcome to the tribe. As always, like, subscribe, comment, and share, and all of that jazz, because it helps the channel. But also, I have only selected a couple of games to do watch-alongs for the World Cup. We've done 2 watch-alongs so far. The watch-alongs so far that we've had were the Spain and Cape Verde game, and Porro obviously didn't start in that. We did the Brazil Morocco game, and the rest of the group stages, that should stay group stages and not knockout, is going to be tomorrow 6 o'clock kickoff. We will be live from 5:45. That will be for the Netherlands Sweden game, so we can watch Van Hecke, Van de Ven, and Bergval. Good time. I did this because I think it's a good time just before 6 o'clock, 5:45. Tomorrow we'll do the rundown of that and any update, any transfer news, very high level, but I'm excited to watch that one. On Monday, we will be doing Argentina versus Austria. Of course, another 3 players in that fixture from Spurs. That is Romero, now Senesi, and Danso. So those are the 2 games that we are going to cover. All details are in the community tab of this page of the channel. Just checking very quickly, there's nothing else that's just dropped. USA Australia tonight in the World Cup, 8 o'clock, an hour from now. I'm excited to watch Pochettino's side in that one. So excited to watch Pochettino's side. Can't lie, here for it. We've then got Scotland at 11 o'clock. I probably will be watching that tonight. Scotland v Morocco, because I want to see Robertson, but I will not be doing a watch along because we all need a life. And then at 1:30 is Brazil versus Haiti. And then at 4 o'clock in the morning, there is Turkey versus Paraguay. So the next one after that will be the Netherlands-Sweden game. So 5 more games before that game of Netherlands versus Sweden is tomorrow. So looking forward to all of that. If you're not a World Cup fan, maybe you want to join us for the vibes tomorrow. Maybe you want to keep up to date with the transfer news. You are more than welcome to join us. I will keep an eye of any other fixtures. I did think of doing the Norway game, but I'm not sure about it. And I think tentatively, just tentatively, I'm going to see how these next 2 go. Tentatively, I might do England-Ghana. I might do England-Ghana. The reason why I might do England-Ghana is because my mates have all made plans for this barbecue, which I'm not sure I want to go to. So I said to them, why would I do that? Why would I do that when we can enjoy it with 100 plus other people online, you know, with the Spurs tribe? But hold on. Are you guys lying? Check Fabrizio. Check Romano. What's the bomber? Do you know what, guys? Do you know what? Every time I end the stream, every time I come off of YouTube, a bomber hits. Every time. The other day, the Senesi news came in. Then the Van Hecke deal came in. Actually, we won't even touch on Van Hecke. We haven't. Oh, 3 minutes ago. Here we go. Exclusive. What good timing. Good job I didn't clock off. I don't know why it's loading. Tottenham Fabrizio react to... Brighton submit new official bid to Spurs for Luka Vuskovic. Understand the proposal is worth 45 million package. Add-ons included. Tottenham to decide soon. This won't happen till after the World Cup, guys. It will not happen after the World Cup. I don't care if he goes. I don't care if he goes. People are going to hate me. People are literally going to come for me in the comments. But I don't care. I don't care. I'm so over it. I know a lot of people are over Enoch, but I'm also over players. I'm over players who just like don't really want to play for the club. And if he feels like he's going to be trapped and later down the line, if he becomes a huge player, that he's not going to get to go to a big club like a Real Madrid or a Barcelona, then let him go to Brighton. We just got Van Hecke. So take Van Hecke. We're looking at... I think this is going to happen. I do think this is going to happen. And the reason why I say that is because we're still being linked to centre-backs. So why would we still be linked to centre-backs? I think there is a huge question mark. I think... Well, look, we just paid 52 mil for Van Hecke. So if we paid 52 mil for Van Hecke, are Brighton going to pay 55 mil for Vuskovic? Probably not. That's the way I would look at it. Because Vuskovic is an unproven player. But then again, in a couple of years' time, Brighton will probably sell him for 100 mil. So I would do a deal 55. I would do a deal 55 plus buyback clause. I would do a buyback first refusal buyback clause. So if you're gonna sell him on, if another club comes back, we get first refusal. And I would also do 20% sell on. 25% sell on fee. Crazy. I don't know if 20% is realistic, but I'd do a huge sell on fee, I'd do a buyback clause, and I wouldn't settle for less than 50. What do you guys think? Maybe I should do the negotiation. So the word on the street is the club don't want to loan him. The word on the street is club do not want to loan him, and the reason for them not wanting to loan him is because by that point his value could have depreciated. So, there you go. He's no Van Hecke. He's no Van Hecke. You're saying I'm not sure you're down. You're not sure you're down with it, or you are down with it? Yes, I agree with this. This is his agent. This is 100% his agent. And do you know what happens? Sometimes in these types of situations, players get so bigged up. Can they live up to that expectation? Can they live up to it? Did anyone, I mean, uh, out of you guys who watched the England game, what did you think of Vuskovic in the England game? I didn't think he was outstanding. I thought he had a solid performance, and I was watching him, but I didn't think he was like magnificent. I didn't think he was like outstanding. Like he was decent. He was a good player, but I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, he's like the best thing since sliced bread. Like, and we can't upgrade on him. I think there's players that we can, you know. But I didn't think he was amazing for Croatia. Not in the slightest. Good, but not great. Um, Callie's saying loan him in the Prem. Do England Ghana, it'd be fun. Yeah, I might do it. I'm gonna see how the next two go because I do want to cover. I do want to cover. I do want to do tomorrow. I'm genuinely excited for tomorrow's game. Such a loser. I feel like such a geek, guys, but I love it. I love it. I don't care. But yeah, I'm excited. And the Austria Argentina game, I think that'll just be fun. And I do want to do one England game, whether I do it now or when we get through, because I do think we'll get through to the knockouts, obviously. Whether I do one later down the line, like a bigger game, because I think. Yeah, I think there'll be opportunity to do bigger games further down the line as well. So I don't want to burn out because yeah, a lot of work goes into doing my videos as well. You know, you're reading news for like a couple of hours a day before you actually film the video, upload it, do thumbnails and everything. So I don't want to like take on more than I can chew, which is why I've just chosen those two for Saturday and Monday for now. um you're late, Callie. You're late. Or maybe I'm late. I think I'm late. um I got Japan and Iran in our sweepstake and Qatar in the other. Oh, poor you, Richard. Poor you. Well, I've got Bosnia and Herzegovina. I've got South Korea. I've got England. And I've got a fourth team. Who's my fourth team? I've got a fourth team. They can't be that good because I can't even remember who it was. Um, it was my fourth team I got in the sweepstake. Anyway, it's going to annoy me now. Actually going to annoy me. I don't know who it is. Ivory Coast. That was it. It was Ivory Coast. Well, they haven't had a bad start. Brighton can piss off. Make it 60. I don't think they offer 60. I don't think they go to 60. I just think if Van Hecke was 52 and he's prem proven in his prime, I don't know, unless they buy potential, thinking he's going to be a 100 mil player in future. I don't know. I don't think they won't offer 60. I think the speculation was, didn't we want 55? I just think this is his agent. I literally just think this is his agent. I just think this is his agent who's like, you shouldn't stay at Spurs. They finished 17th. They're not very good. You should try and get into a better club. Go to Brighton. They'll sell you in 2 years to Real Madrid because they'll want the money for you because they're a selling club. If you stay at Spurs, if they get back into Champions League, his agent's probably like, they're never going to win the league. So then, you're going to be playing for like a top 6 side, but you're never going to reach your potential. So, and then we'll end up in like another bloody Harry Kane situation. So I'm okay with letting him go. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Yeah, sell the player. Well, the word on the street is he's not a De Zerbi player. The word on the street is he's not a De Zerbi player. He was bought in under Ange, wasn't he? He was bought in under Ange, I think. Pretty sure he was brought in under Ange, Vuskovic. So maybe he would have been great under Ange, but De Zerbi boy is very different. So I don't think he's like that great at like progressive passing and stuff. So I don't know if he actually suits the De Zerbi system. And look, if you can get money for him, how much did we pay for him? How much did we pay for Vuskovic? Is it 10 mil or something? How much did we pay for him? 12 million euros. 12 million euros. 11, 12 million euros. I mean, a return in 2 seasons of if you're going to sell him for 45 million and you bought the guy for 10, 35 million for a player that hasn't even played. It's not bad. It's not bad. I think you could do probably a bit higher. And when I say something as well, just to add as well, Brighton, for the negotiation for the Van Hecke deal, if you actually and this is like my financial hat, my financial coaching hat I'm putting on, because 52 million for Van Hecke is a very specific number. It is a very specific number, and we heard Spurs put in an offer for 50 mil and Brighton wanted 55, and I think they settled in the middle at that 52. So if Spurs want 55 and Brighton are offering 45, this might land somewhere about the 50 mil mark. This could land at about 50 mil. So this is the second offer they've put in. They put in 35. Sell and insert a buy black or sell on percent. You're right, Sarah. You cannot miss something you never really had. He played 2 or 3 preseason games with us. Why not sell for the right price? I think it also depends on De Zerbi. If De Zerbi's like, yeah, player can go, get the money, take the money, invest it get a better striker. You know, we have Byfield coming through the ranks as well. He's a couple of years behind Vuskovic. He made his appearance as well this season in the Champions League. I think Byfield came on for the Dortmund game, which we won at the very end of it and saw that out. And that was under bloody Frank. So Byfield can do that, 17 years old, under Frank. Imagine he's probably also got a big future ahead of him. But I think Byfield is way too young at the moment. He's going to go on loan. So yeah, we've got players coming through in the centre back position, and we're also linked to other centre backs as well. So the other centre back we were linked with, the other centre back we were linked with was this guy. Hold on. Sorry, I've lost the screen, guys. 1 second. So the other centre back we were linked with was and I don't know how I don't know if I don't think this is like a necessarily like really strong link, but I can't pronounce this name. Mahamovic. I'm so sorry, I'm butchering these names. Tarek, I call him Tarek. Mahamovic. I've got it. Mahamovic. Maharemovic. Oh my gosh, my Yeah, my Bosnian. Oh, he plays for Bosnia and Herzegovina, my sweepstake team. What a coincidence! But we have been linked with him, and that was in the past day. So this was according to the Italian outlet Tuttomercato, and the speculation on this was that it's 25 to 30 million euros, partly because of an obligation to pay half of his proceeds to Juventus. So was a Juventus player. So I'm not saying we're getting this kid. What I'm saying is that there are links to centre backs. There are links to centre backs, even though we've got in Senesi and Van Hecke. And that to me would suggest that Vuskovic is not necessarily staying next season. But that's just my read. That's my read on like the situation, I would say. You know. Has you got any more bombers? What else are you guys saying? Pulisic is out. You are hired, Lange is fired. I don't know. I probably should have said a 50% sell on, shouldn't I? 50%. If Tottenham sells this talent and we haven't even played this talent for us, what a waste of time. And I can see, well, it's not a waste. It's not a waste of time. It's not a waste of time, Swim Master. I'm sorry to disagree. But if you buy a player for £10 million, he never plays, and then you sell him 2 years later for 50 million, you've just made 40 million for doing nothing. You've literally just made 40 million for doing nothing. And that 40 million can be put towards a top tier striker. Top tier striker. And then you buy another centre back. You buy another centre back because you've got Van Hecke there. Van Hecke's going to be here for the next 5 years, so it don't matter. Doesn't matter. We don't need we've got Danso. You've got Danso as well. So, okay, so for one season, you've got Van Hecke and Danso, and then you buy another centre back to replace Danso next year. It's really not the end of the world, this Vuskovic thing. There's a lot of fever, guys. There's a lot of my dad was saying it on the last day of the season. There's a lot of like fever pitch. And I think it's just like this like innate anger towards the ownership, but it's just like, as in, like, what I mean by that is like people saying, well, it's the stupidity of Enoch for wanting to sell the player. But I see it as if you can make 40 million in 2 years on a player that's never played for us, who's 19, who's not prem proven, take the money. Just take it and buy a bloody good player. Get Fernandez. Get Fernandez in. Get Wharton in. Get Tonali for 100 mil. You know what I mean? If you want to break the bank, you're gonna need to get it out. There you go. Agent Taps is saying 45 is silly money. See, this is the Spurs. It's the Spurs. I don't know what it is. It's like this weird attachment that we've got to these like big name players, like with potential. But like, we're not talking like we're selling Harry Kane here. We're talking about selling Vuskovic. I mean, I could bite my tongue. In a year's time, I could bite my tongue when Brighton are in Champions League next year. But do you know what, guys? I don't think Brighton are gonna have a good season. I don't think Brighton are gonna have a good season. You heard it here first. I just think with Europe, they're going to be they're teams that go into Europe for one of the first time and haven't got the depth of squad. They're in for a shock just because of the format change. It's hectic. We saw that. They've got 9 games in 1 month. It's madness how the European games are being played. So let them go to Brighton. Brighton will finish like 12th next season. We can do a predictor. Actually, maybe I should do an early predictor of the table or something like that, because I think they finish mid-bottom table next year, Brighton, because we are going to take their place at 4th. Well, actually, they're not even 4th. That's Villa, but yeah. Oh, big up, Carl. Sorry, I didn't see your super chat. I'm an Arsenal fan. Can I join? I presume you meant when we were talking about the watch-alongs. As long as you're civil, it's all good. It's all good. We've got Luke's about. Luke, he's an Arsenal fan. Who else is regular of the channel? Roy's about. He's an Arsenal fan. We've got a few Arsenal fans. Trying to remember the names because we've got a lot of people that support different clubs. We have Juventus fans in the chat. We have Marseille fans in the chat. We have Barcelona fans. We've got global audience over here. We might be Spurs, small club Spurs, but we have a big audience, global audience. Do not underestimate it. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what, yeah, I should have said that. Who said that? Hold on. As long as you're spending money, you can. Who said that? As long as, yes, Seven has it right. As long as you're spending money, you can join. Yeah, extra ticket prices to the Gooners. You got to pay double. Right, it's a rival fee. You get the rival fee. Rival tax, that's the word. That's the word. There's a rival tax. If you're coming in the watch-alongs, you pay rival tax. Oh dear. Yes, Bundesliga stats, not Prem stats. Exactly. When you're in the Bundesliga, who are you playing? Harry Kane? Elise? Like, who are you playing in the Bundesliga? Like, who is your opponent? Harry Kane, Elise, maybe a couple of other big players. In the Prem, you're playing these guys every week. You are playing them every week. Every single team in the Prem has got good strikers or has got, like, very physical players. So it's a completely different league. Not worth 60 mil. Yeah. Well, is he worth 45? You know what I mean? Is he worth 45? You know, he needs to do better in his World Cup game. Yeah, he's putting himself on the market. He's putting himself in the shop window. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 50, 60 mil for him, I'll take it. There is always youngsters coming through. And do you know what I would also say? Do you know what I would also say? If you're that confident, if you are that confident in your skill and in your craft and how good you are as a centre-back and as a defender, then back yourself. Back yourself, go into the Spurs team and prove it. If you think you should be playing first team football, prove it to yourself. No? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? If you think you're that good, back yourself, stay at Spurs and prove it. Prove that you can get into this squad, ahead of Van Hecke, ahead of Danso. If you believe that, if you believe you're such a good player. Controversial, I know, but hey, you've got to be objective, right? That's what challenging is. In ages. We had one of the youngest age squads. Our signings, although good, they're established in age. We need established. We need established. Swim Master, what we have proven, unfortunately, in the last 2 seasons is potential doesn't win you games. Potential does not win you games, unfortunately. And when we got Tell 2 seasons ago, when we got Odebear, when we got Bergval, when we got Gray, we built a whole team of youngsters of potential that have not filled their potential, and you cannot have a complete team filled with youngsters. And De Zerbi, quite frankly, has turned around and said, look, if you want to stay in the Premier League next season, if you want me to push you for Europe, if you want to make your money back and get back in top 4, we are going to need experience who know this league, who can do it. So I don't, I think you need both. I think you need both. Oh yeah, Ashley Phillips was a name as well, going to Sheffield United. Can't remember if I said that one, but his name was linked to Sheffield United as well. Speaking of centre-backs going, Ashley Phillips maybe could be going to Sheffield United, but I don't think he ever makes it to the Prem, to be honest. Some of you are saying a 40, yes, you do Vuskovic with a 50. Some of you are saying like 50, 60 mil plus a big sell-on clause and a buyback clause. Yeah, I think that's what you've got to do. Yeah. 50 is fair. Well, I would take 52 million for a prime Van Hecke and swap it. Yeah. That is and this, unfortunately, Wilson, is, unfortunately, this is like a Dragusin situation. And what this player's agent needs to understand is the psyche of Spurs fans. And Spurs fans are a very fickle bunch. We are a very fickle bunch. We have had our hand burnt so many times that when a player comes out again and again and again, even if they are just trying to get more money, even if they are just trying to get into a better squad or into a better team or better division or whatever it is, we get so heated about it. We get so heated about it because we're like, how, you know, how can this player want to leave us? So, like, how can they want to leave us? And they haven't even played for us. They haven't even come through the door yet. And so I think Spurs fans, we've seen this so many times. Like, got to the point with Dragusin. Do you know what, Dragusin? If you want to leave, leave. Romero got to the point. If you want to leave, leave. Even Harry Kane, it got to the point where it was like, this guy deserves better. Bit different situation, but we were like, if you want to leave, leave. You know. So it gets to a point where if a player repeatedly is coming out in the press saying, yeah, we want to leave, we want to leave, we want to leave. At that point, the fans are just like, we'll just leave then. Just leave, you know? We'll just take the money and buy someone better. Exactly. But that's the word. That is what we are hearing, King Hoddle. That is what we are hearing. The word on the street is he wants to play, and De Zerbi said, minutes are earned. Minutes are earned. That is what he said. Anyway, guys, we could be here for hours. And the problem is, guys, you know what's going to happen? I'm going to end this stream. And the minute I bloody end the stream, we're going to have another bomber. You know that. You know that because the USA Australia game is just about to start in half an hour. So sod's law, something else is going to happen. But yeah, we spoke about this before, Carlson. You missed us. See, Roy's here. See, Roy, Carl, Luke. You can have your like Champions League loser corner over there. Champions of Europe, you'll never sing that. Champions of Europe, you'll never sing that. Netherlands, Croatia in the finals. Nope, it's going to be England. Did I have England, France? I think I had England, France in my predictor. Anyway, different video. Right, guys. 2 hours 22. Bloody hell. Right. Been a lot of fun today, guys. Thank you. Sorry if I put you all to sleep with the new Premier League rules, but I did think it was. I think it was an interesting piece, and no one is talking about it, and it's a big deal because we've had a shit run with. I don't think I'm allowed to swear, but yeah, we've had an awful run with the referees over the past couple of seasons. So who knows? Maybe in the background, Spurs have been writing to them. Who knows? Very excited. Premier League fixtures are out. Guys, all of the news on the kits and everything like that. I saw some of you have said in the chat as well that you've already bought the kit. You've already bought the kit. All you Kinos. I mean, I'm definitely probably not going to buy one for £115. But anyway, next video tomorrow, 6 o'clock, 5:45. Probably nearer 10 to 6, but 5:45. We'll be going live tomorrow. Netherlands versus Sweden. Going to be a hot one, guys. Make sure you bring your beers. Bring your hats, bring your sunscreen if you're watching it outside in the park. Have a lovely evening, guys. Enjoy watching Pochettino's USA versus Australia tonight in half an hour. And I'll see you all. Oh, and please do like, subscribe, comment, and share before you drop off from this video. Go do it now. Go do it now. Go like 120 likes. We can do better than that. We can do better than that. Can we do better than that? We can do better than that. Go and like the stream. I'll see you all tomorrow, guys. Have a lovely evening. Bye for now.